What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the SoCal Dram Tram. I'm Matt.
And I'm Caesar.
And today, before we get into this special edition bottle, Caesar, do you know what today is?
Today is, I don't know what it is.
Today is review number 100. That's right. Who'd have thunk it? Did you ever think, folks, these two idiots on YouTube would get to 100 reviews? I sure as hell didn't. But nonetheless, we just want to say thank you so much for sticking around with us through 100 reviews. We appreciate you guys more than you could possibly ever know. But while we're on the subject, did you know that 83% of the views on this channel come from people who are not subscribed?
Oh, mommy.
Jesus, do us a favor. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. It's free and it's fun. It really helps the channel, so we appreciate that. And if you are a returning viewer, hey, we appreciate you so much for sticking around. And do us a favor. If you've been here since day one, hit us up in the comments. We'd love to see you guys sound off and let us know if you've been here since the day one that the Dram Tram left the station. But before we go ramble on too much longer, don't forget to hit that little bell. That way you know whenever we drop a brand new video. Caesar, what do we got for this momentous occasion on the bar?
For this momentous occasion, we have this momentous item from your bar, my friend.
That's right. We got a half-size bottle of this bottle. But when you tack them together, you got a full size. Today, we've got the Crowded Barrel Alliance Series Andalusia Whiskey Co. Malted Whiskey. Let's get into it. So, folks, Crowded Barrel Whiskey Company. You probably know it by a better name known as the Whiskey Tribe. Woo! But Crowded Barrel Whiskey Company is a whiskey distillery that is crowdsourced. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it right now. The Crowded Barrel Whiskey Company is the world's first crowdsourced whiskey distillery, and the Whiskey Tribe is that crowd.
Yep.
And at its core, Crowded Barrel is a distillery for the terminally curious. Beyond funding, the community decides what whiskey gets made and how it gets made, but they don't stop there. Independent bottling is a practice that originated in Scotland. It involves companies purchasing specialty selected barrels from various distilleries and releasing special edition bottlings. Traditionally, the bottler will release a single cask or a special release of a selected blend. Often the distilleries use the independent release as a feature either directly on the bottle or on the materials that clarify the ingredients of the blend. The Crowded Barrel Alliance Series offers a chance to try unique barrels of whiskeys from distilleries all over the United States. Highlighting Andalusia Whiskey Company from Blanco, Texas. This particular Alliance release is a 4-year-old bottled in bond malt whiskey that was aged in 25-gallon Kelvin Cooperage No. 3 char barrels. The mash bill consists of 2-row malt, Munich malt, crystal malt, and chocolate malt.
As long as it ain't crystal meth.
I don't think you can distill that. That would be very interesting. Folks, this is a specialty bottle to mark a special occasion. And hey, it's 100 proof because it's bottled in bond. Therefore, it's our 100th review. That's how lazy we've become at 100 reviews. I've had a chance to sip this. This is one of those where I've seen Daniel and Rex do all the Whiskey Tribe videos, all that good stuff, and they went out to Andalusia. They're good friends with that distillery. I believe the distiller's name is Ty, who owns that distillery. And you know, they have done numerous videos over there. They've partnered with them numerous times. And I've always been very curious about Andalusia because they, in their peated malt, I think it's Andalusia Striker, they use Irish peat. So it's one of those bottles that I'm always like, where can I find it? Come to find out, Texas liquor laws suck and the distribution is, you know, hard. And so it's one of those things to where they're not out here. And so it's one of those things that's always been kind of like a white whale for me. I can never get it. And they don't ship from Texas, so I can't order it. So it's been kind of a rock and a hard place. But I recently, one of my good friends that I've known for going on 20 years moved out to Texas, and she's like, hey, I live in Austin now. Do you need me to go pick up your order? I'm like, yes, please. So needless to say, I got my order. So this bottle is sealed. I bought 2 bottles because I was that damn curious. But this bottle you can see here, these are 375s. You can see it's almost halfway gone. And that's how much I love this whiskey. So I'm excited to get into it. Again, I told you a little bit about it. It's using chocolate malt. It's using 2-row malt. It's using crystal malt. It's using Munich malt. What are you expecting as we get into this whiskey?
So I'm going to be honest. I don't know what I'm expecting. I honestly don't know what I'm expecting. But I know I followed a Whiskey Tribe and T-Rex and all them.
T-Rex.
And I know that they're very genuine when it comes to whiskey. Very genuine about their opinions.
They know their shit, as my dad would say.
Yeah, 100% know their stuff. And that's what keeps me enticed and keep me following them, because they know what they're doing and now they're making their own stuff. So although I don't know what I expect, I kind of am hoping it's good stuff, because I mean they're great people and they have great palates. So I hope this is that good. And also the color on this looks pretty nice. It's that dark brown that I really like to see in a whiskey. So I guess
that's that Texas heat.
I guess I'm expecting that.
4 years old. That's Texas heat.
I guess I'm expecting good stuff.
You know, it's interesting. I first heard about Crowded Barrel Alliance from a Whiskey Tribe video, go figure, where they were talking about how they partnered and released a Wyoming whiskey. That was what really kind of turned me on to the idea. And when we interviewed David DeFazio, you can check that one out up here. Again, sorry about my mic. The mic died. We don't know what happened. That's why we added in the subtitles. And I had straight up asked him, like, do you have a bottle? Can I get some of that? And he was like, it's in my office and there's about half of it gone. And I was like, no. So, hey, Rex, Daniel, get another bottle of Wyoming. Nonetheless, let's get into Andalusia. I have had this, so I'm going to let you go first with your nosing and tasting notes, because I don't want to give anything away, but I will just say I like it. And on Caesar's note, take a look at that color. That's what that Texas heat's going to do for you. That is dark as night.
Dang, it's actually focusing now.
Right, for a change. And then I am a member of the Whiskey Tribe.
Like, well,
I've got my patron coin. That one came fresh in the mail yesterday.
That looks so good. Thank you, Sony. That looks so good. Now I have to do this, because look at that. Oh, scheisse.
It's okay, Dan and Rex. You could take that. That's just free marketing, because you know you're not only already the biggest whiskey channel on YouTube. Show them the back. Show them the back of that logo.
Would you have a macro lens?
There you go. There you go. Ain't that sexy?
Oh.
All right, put that bottle down. Let's get into this whiskey.
Oh. I love my camera. Sorry, guys. Anywho, dang, for the first time it's actually
I know.
good.
Every time we've tried, we gave up on it because it was stopping doing that.
Yeah, it's doing good now.
So what are you getting? Again, I don't want to give anything away. This is special. I've had it because I couldn't wait.
It's definitely, it smells like a straight bourbon. It smells like...
Remember, it's malt. Ain't gonna be corn.
Oh, man. I need to take big... Well, actually, that's a good thing. I could take big whiffs of this and just get the flavor.
It's 100 proof. It's 50% alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't really had many 50% alcohols where I could stick my nose in it and be like, wow, okay, that smells pretty good. It smells pretty good.
We had another 50%er recently. That was our Deanston Dragon's Milk cask, and that was 50%. And
this is still smoother than that on the nose.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's smoother, but I can take a bigger pull.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just...
You getting anything so far?
Well, just traditional, like, straight bourbon, like, brown sugar note. What about you? You got anything specific? It's
I get a lot of cinnamon. I get a little bit of honey. And I get malty bread. Like, to me, this smells like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Now I'm going to sip while you talk.
I'll wait a second because finish is still going. Ooh. Ooh. I know what the finish is like. I have a nail on the finish, but I still don't have a nail on the beginning part.
There's a certain quality that I get in a lot of Texas whiskeys, and it's like a burned licorice. It's the only way I can describe it. Like, it's that red vines licorice. Like, there's a certain chemicaliness to it, but it tastes burnt. But I'm not going to go too much further because, again, I want to hear what your thoughts are.
Got it. So the forefront tastes like a caramel popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
The back front,
Like some Werther's popcorn.
Yep. The finish though tastes like freaking Apple Jacks. Apple Jack cereal.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Right away, like the finish, it nailed it. The Apple Jacks. That's what I get.
You get that little bit of neutral fruit from the apple for sure.
Apple Jacks is a straight finish, but for the forefront, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna just not talk again. I'll go with those for sure. Yeah,
it's just damn good. You know, this is why independent bottling exists, right? This is why when you can pick a barrel, and I'm sure it helps that, you know, hey, you know, if you're my buddy and you own a distillery, I'd be like, hey, can I get a barrel? And you're like, yeah, go ahead, pick whatever you want. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's exactly what they got to do, but I'm sure there wasn't too many limits on what they could pick from. You know what I mean? And I'm sure, you know, given the size of the operation, it's probably like, well, you know, hey, you have a limit, obviously, but this is why independent bottling is awesome, because you can take a barrel, not really do much to it, but you can release it when you think it's ready to go. You know what I mean? Now, this is bottled in bond, so it's got a few more restrictions on it. But again, this is just damn good whiskey. At the end of the day, it's damn good whiskey. And Texas whiskey in general continues to be something that I think is fair to say we really enjoy. It's one of those things to where everybody talks about doing the Bourbon Trail out in Kentucky, which is something we want to do. Texas is like neck and neck for me as far as like wanting to do that trail. The only problem is the Texas whiskey trail is like spanning the entire state and takes, you know, a long time. Whereas Kentucky, it's like, oh yeah, we got one right here, one right here, one right here. Every 2 miles, you got a new distillery. But that's not to say that we wouldn't do both. But this whiskey is something special. I think if they had a chance to pick the right barrel, they did. But it's just got a lot of character. That's got that fruit element. The first time I had this, I didn't even get any fruit off it. I just got that malty cereal cinnamon toast crunch note I was talking about. The Apple Jacks, you're right on the money with that. But again, it's also got that Texas whiskey profile. You get a little bit of that oak element because, again, it has been baked in that Texas heat. But you can see now why I'm like, hey, Chandra, go get me a bottle of Andalusia Striker. I'm going to need that.
So with the water, I almost think it tastes like either just as good or 1% better. It's crazy because I think as far as relating stuff goes, is like a Modelo, for example. A basic Modelo from a can, obviously everyone knows what that tastes like, but when you have it from the draft, like from the keg, it's different. And it's significantly like, wow.
That's not a Modelo thing. That's every beer.
Well, so that's what I think about this. I think this is like, normally it's like good, but when you add just a couple of drops of water, I think it almost tastes like it's from the keg. Like it gets more
It hits a certain sweet spot.
Yeah. And it's just like, wow. I was like, all right.
It's sort of the water for me sort of rounds off the rough edges. Not that they had much, but like the few rough edges where it was like a little bit that oak is punching forward, or hey, that pepper spice is punching forward. Again, not dominant, but just a little bit punchy.
Yeah.
The water just kind of chill those out.
Yep.
And it still holds the core flavors of the whiskey.
Water,
It's just damn good. Like, you done picked a good barrel, guys. Shout out to Emma. I'm sure Emma probably had a hand in this too. And whoever else did. And shout out to Andalusia for making the damn whiskey. There's a reason why. What's that line from Django with Leonardo DiCaprio where he's just like, gentlemen, you had my first you had my attention, now you have my curiosity, or however he says that. Like, that's this distillery for me. Like, I can't wait to get out there and try some other things, or have a friend, ship me some olive oil.
Yeah, no, this is definitely good stuff. I'm already done with my. Now I'm done with ridiculous. But yeah, it's crazy good stuff.
What are you thinking on a score? Remember, it's review number 100. No pressure.
$40 a bottle. We'll just say it's $80 for a full bottle. And not to even knock on them on that.
Can't get it. Like, it's tough to get.
I would say if they were a regular bourbon company, like a more widely bourbon company, that'd probably be down to like, I would say $60. I'd say they'd probably source this for $60 a bottle if they were big enough to sell all over the place.
Well, again, bottled and bond, more restrictions, things like that.
But on that note, man, it's actually good stuff though. Dang, it's just the price point is the only thing that has me, because $80 for a full bottle, it can't. So if it wasn't $80 for a full bottle, like let's just say it was $50 for a full bottle, I'd say it's a 4, easily a 4. But since it's technically $80 for a bottle, I'm gonna go back to my point of 3.5. So it's a 3.5 for me. But I'm gonna say this. All this Texas whiskey that's coming out that I'm starting to enjoy, just like him too, makes me think we need to move to Mexico. We need to move to Mexico and make our own whiskey company because of the climate that's over there. It's similar to the climate in Texas, and there's no one in frickin' Mexico really making good whiskey.
Believe it or not, there actually is.
Good whiskey?
I've never had it. I always debate buying it, but I always just leave it on the shelf.
But that's also probably people that almost like, well, I'm not saying it is for sure.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But it could be people that don't know what they're doing, people that are just trying to start, people that are like, oh, it's not here, so let's do it, or like people.
I think what you're saying is something maybe we should look into.
Well, not only that, but I'm serious when I'm saying we should probably move to Mexico and make our own whiskey with our knowledge because of the climate that's there. Because these guys are doing, or all this Texas whiskey is coming so good out of Texas, where you don't think that the climate is doing good for the whiskey and the barley and stuff, yet it's coming out so good. Man, if people in Mexico were as knowledgeable as the people in Texas, we would have some freaking crazy good stuff coming out of there, from my opinion.
What'd you give it, 3.5?
Yeah.
To kind of piggyback off your point there, I think the people in Texas who are making whiskey are, and I apologize, you're going to have to bleep this out, finding ways to fuck with tradition. And it's one of those things to where they're doing it right. They're very much trying to figure out what is our unique profile, because not all bourbon is from Kentucky, right? It's the same people who are doing stuff out in the Northwest. Not all bourbon is from Kentucky, right? And now people will be like, the only bourbon worth drinking is from Kentucky, and that is a bullshit statement. I'm sorry. Like, I love Kentucky bourbon, but I will tell you, I'll drink this any day over a lot of the bourbons that we've had on even this channel, right? But again, that's not a knock. That's not trying to say, oh, if you're a Kentucky bourbon purist, that this, isn't for you or anything like that. It's just saying that when it's done right, it's done with care. It's done with love. It's got all that TLC, tender love and care. You know what I mean? So you can tell that the people care about the whiskey that's going to. And again, it's
Table,
not saying
ladders, and chair match.
No, just kidding. That pay-per-view was canceled this year. Yeah, Mr. 305. Inside joke. Sorry. I'll put the link in the comments down below. You should check it out. It's really funny. But 3.5 from Caesar. If I have to give this a score, objectively, this was a damn good barrel. Subjectively, it's a whiskey I bought 2 without even thinking about it. And once this bottle's gone, this bottle probably will go in the back of the cabinet for a while, so it stays, back there, and it don't go through it. Damn. 4.5. 4.5 from me. It's high marks. If it was a full bottle for $80, I'd buy it. I've bought worse bottles for $80. Okay. Here's the way I think it. There's a bottle that we will never review that I poured down the sink. And I told you about it. And it just tasted like opening up a bottle of like paint thinner and WD-40.
I think I remember.
And I didn't want to review it because I would go so hard on this distillery that I would probably get a nasty email. And I just don't want to deal with that because I deal with customer service all the time. But this is like the polar opposite. I would buy this because this is 40 bucks for this half bottle, and I spent 40 bucks for that full bottle. I'd buy this 10 times over that bottle. I would buy this over a lot of bottles on the bar because, again, it's got a lot of character. It's got a lot of value to it, in my opinion. So again, subjectively for me, this is a 4.5. So it's a 3.5 from Caesar. It's a 4.5 from me. But do us a favor, hit us up in the comments. Have you ever had a Crowded Barrel Alliance whiskey? Have you had a Crowded Barrel whiskey?
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts. I've got a couple more on the bar. Do you want to see us review them? Because we do have them. I've even got the Single Malt of Magnificence. Do you want to see that one? But nonetheless, folks,
what's it called though?
The Single Malt. The Single Malt of Magnificence.
Single malt. The single malt. I love it.
But do us a favor, hit us up in the comments. We love interacting with you there. Again, episode 100. This is crazy. I never thought we'd get here. Be sure to hit subscribe if you're new here. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Folks, we love you. Keep tuning in for another 100 of reviews. You got anything else you want to add?
Now, what about you, brother?
Stay safe, drink well, drink more Texas. All aboard. We'll catch you next time. Hey, everybody. Hope you liked that video.
Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications.
And don't forget to subscribe.